Hello, my name is Joseph,
And I'm Maya.
and welcome to a very special Live in Context. Now, as you may or may not have heard, there's a little debate in town. At the Tyler Perry studio, in about 2.5 hours, 10 Democrats will be on a stage talking to each other about policy. So we have Maya here, one of our best political reporters, to kind of break down why Atlanta and where they're going to be and really get into some of the more nitty gritty of it. So I think just to start it off, why Atlanta? Why do you think all these Democrats have come here specifically to kick off the southern leg of the debates?
So, Georgia Democrats have stressed the importance of Georgia in the upcoming presidential election. And Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottom, lobbied specifically not only to bring a debate to Georgia,
Right.
but to bring a debate to Atlanta. And earlier this week, she talked about the historical significance of holding the debate on Tyler Perry Studios, which is the only Black-owned movie studio in the country and one of the largest studios, and how it's being held in Atlanta, which was once a Confederate stronghold, where Democrats are in town vying for Black voters who are, some of the most loyal Democratic voters in the country, in the party. And, she says that the significance of having all of these Democrats in town, putting Atlanta on a national stage in what was once Confederate stronghold, it's just kind of coming full circle.
Right. That kind of symbolism and like a rebirth story, I think, is so crucial. You hit on a really important point too, because I remember seeing a statistic somewhere where no Democrat has ever won the nomination without a majority of the Black vote, and more specifically Black women. So, what do you think they are? So, with that in mind, how do you think that will play to the demographic of Georgia in their statewide elections? Like, do you see this being a more purple state? Is it still going to be red? Like, how do you see that playing out?
So, at least since last year when Stacey Abrams came the closest, lost by the closest margin in 50 years to her governor's race,
Right.
with large support from Black voters and from Black women specifically as Black women. Democrats have kind of, saw that as it energized them to lobby national Democrats to focus on Georgia, saying, we are a battleground state, we can be a swing state. A lot of state Democrats believe that if they can drive voter turnout, that it's highly possible for the presidential candidate, for Georgia to pick a Democratic candidate in the general election next year.
Right. And I think to that point about the electorate too, we are seeing a lot of statewide races. Like I think 2 open Senate seats here.
We have 2 open Senate seats. Well, not open. We have 2 Senate races that are coming next year. With one that's open, with Senator Johnny Isakson announcing that he's going to retire at the end of the year for health reasons. So that's a reason that a lot of national Democrats are looking at Georgia. They see it as a potential to energize Democrats in the state. They think that they can run Democrats in those races that could help them flip those seats in the state Senate.
Right.
In the U.S. Senate. And also, we have 2, closely watched House races with Lucy McBath, who flipped the seat last year, so we have races in the 6th and the 7th that are being closely watched.
Absolutely.
And so Nancy Pelosi was here last month, U.S. House Speaker was here last month, and she said that, national Democrats are going to have their eye on Georgia and that they're going to kind of circle the wagons around, especially Lucy McBath, to keep this freshman House representative in office.
Right. And I think just to kind of, for the audience who might not really know, just to underscore how unprecedented or how irregular it is to have two Senate seats up for election at the same time. The senators serve 6-year terms and their elections are staggered. So to have them at the same time is just it really doesn't happen often. So it sounds like Republicans are looking at this as majorly being on defense, and Democrats are really trying to go and flip at least one of these seats.
Right, and to have both U.S. Senate seats open in a presidential year,
yes,
when turnout is higher
yes,
than I'm going to say any other election that happens.
Right.
You know, folks show up for presidential elections and not necessarily for state house or local elections in the same numbers. It's just
absolutely,
that's just what it is.
Exactly.
And so if there is a Democratic candidate on the presidential ticket, you know, the hope that people are excited about and that get them out to the polls,
mm-hmm,
the hope for Democrats is that that'll trickle down and get more Democrats who are in the polls who maybe don't vote normally, who
right,
are excited about their presidential candidate, whoever that will be, who will also vote for Democrats in the U.S. Senate.
Right, and yeah, that is a super key point, because we know on the right, Republicans are really excited about Trump, so they go out. So I think Democrats are trying to at least match that energy. That's a really good point. So when we talk about Atlanta and the people who are here, can you tell me which candidates are here, when they came, just kind of give me like an overview of how they're looking at it and what they're doing while here?
So it's almost like a week-long press for Democratic voters in Georgia. We had people showing up, from what I could see, as early as Monday. All 10 candidates who will be on the stage tonight have held different events, whether they were private fundraisers or public events earlier this week, and we have some that are even happening later in the week. Even candidates who won't be on the stage, like Ryon Castro,
right,
held an event yesterday, and I believe another one today. So pretty much everyone is in town, at least across Atlanta, vying for votes.
Yeah, it's almost like anyone who's anyone in the Democratic Party is here. I know Hillary Clinton was here earlier this week. Former President Obama was here. So it's a cultural hub, and it's really a place where it feels like there's a very intense fight for votes. But on the flip side of that, it's not all hunky dory. There are people who are upset the Democrats are here, and just like when any candidate comes in, there are going to be protests from the other side. So can you tell me what some of the Republican protests have looked like, and maybe even some of the Republican action to keep the state red?
So we had a Women for Trump, women who support Donald Trump held a rally yesterday that drew a pretty decent sized crowd. If you're following along online, our live blog with political reporters who are in the debate hall have been updating. I think at about 6:30, a group of Republicans showed up outside Tyler Perry Studios, protesting the debate that's going on tonight.
Right.
And folks are just saying, a lot of Republicans in the state are saying, I understand there's excitement, but, at the end of the day, this is still Georgia. I won't say that they're comfortable, but I think that they are confident that things will continue to go their way. It
sounds like a lot of Republicans are saying what they said about Beto and Cruz in, was that 18?
That sounds right.
Yeah, in 18, where they were like, this is still Texas, no matter how much energy there is, there's still Texas. And I think I hear a lot of those talking points around Georgia as well. Like there's a Georgia governor. There aren't really a lot of Democrats statewide. So yeah, that's a really interesting point. So what I will say now is, we have a great show for you lined up, not here, but actually at the debate stage And in the spin room at Tyler Perry's studio, it's going to be Greg Bluestein, Tia Mitchell, and Jim Galloway. And so they're going to be going on at about 8. And if you want to follow us at AJC on Twitter, we will be live tweeting the entire thing. I'm going to be doing some tweeting. Maya's going to be doing some tweeting. It'll be great. So if you care about this election, if you care about these debates and want to stay up to date on the most current things, definitely follow us on Twitter. That's going to be the best place. Do you have anything to plug? Where can the people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Maya T. Prabhu, which I will spell for you. Mayat as in Tom, Prabhu. I'll also be doing some tweeting from the main AJC account as well.
And if you didn't get that spelling, rewind. There was a lower third down there. You can copy paste that. It'll be beautiful. So you can always follow me at jfergal, or check back each and every week for AJC in context. We take the news and try to make it in a digestible, great way. But as always, Internet, my name is Joseph.
I'm Maya.
And this has been a very special live AJC in context.